To rest today, the 21st of March, Human Rights Day, and how fitting for someone who fought so valiantly for the rights of all people. You can see behind me there's even some sort of an overflow from the marquee as it is filled to capacity. I'm now joined by ANC Treasurer General Mr. Zweli Mkhize, who will speak to us about the work of Mr. Collins Shabane within the movement of the ANC. We know that as far as government was concerned, he was key in administration. Speak to us about his contribution, not only in the province, but on national scale as well.
Well, thank you very much. Firstly, we would like to convey our condolences to the Shabane family, to the Minga community and the people of Chikunga, and of course all of South Africa in particular. We have lost a giant. We have lost a very humble, disciplined comrade who was always there whenever the ANC needed him. Now, if you take his history, he started being a member of the ANC when he was very young. He's been an activist, out there challenging the situation and being ready to sacrifice. He's been through quite a bit, with his history of having gone for training and got to the island. But in the reconstruction of the ANC, he was the first secretary, and therefore his job was to organize, because he's got a particular skill of being able to persuade people, talk to them. He's actually not a limelight person. He likes to sit at the background. Even in a big meeting, you'll find that he'll be there, he'll be very quiet, but when he speaks, you get the sense and leadership direction from him. And therefore, when we've got big conferences, you'll see him walking around with papers. What is he doing? Constitutional amendments. And where there are weaknesses, he'll be the first one to say, no, this needs to be amended, and so on. And so we know him as a man of detail. We know him as a man who was out there to organize, but he loved the ANC. For him, ANC was his life, it was his family, always ready to take all the assignments. On all the debates where you had discussions, his input was always valuable, able to give us direction. And so, and also very helpful across different committees. I worked with him now as a Treasurer General. He was not a member of our committee, but he was always looking at where he can be helpful to the African National Congress. We really miss him because of his sense of discipline and his maturity, and it's a kind of leaders we need, where someone is able to listen and evaluate the situation based on facts and be able to relate with different groups of communities and different people, different points of view, and make up an assessment. But he's also able to bring together conflicting views and ensure that different ideas can come to a resolution. He was a true ANC cadre, and we really will miss him, and we wish we had more of those like him.
On a personal level, very briefly, what will you miss the most about him?
His friendship. His friendship, he would come behind you and pull your arm and say, TG, there's this, there's that, and so on. Or Comrade Zweli, there's this and that. When the ANC has gone through difficulties, when you talk about the Polokwane, when you talk about the preparations for conference, you won't see him in a high-profile activities, but he'll be sitting there and helping to put people's views together. Yes, comrades, we can go this direction, but look at this, look at this. When we have to sit down, in the ANC, we sit down and analyze leadership very critically, deeply. He's one of those who was always very accurate, would sit there and say, no, comrades, don't be emotional. Let's go through what do we need for this position and what do we need from this particular comrades. And that is really what I would mean. I've worked with him. And most of the time when things are difficult, you need comrades to be brought together. Colin will be there. We called him the animal. And really, yes, Isloan. And he would always be there behind the scenes. You'll see things coming up together, people coming together, you see consensus, you see agreements, you see now there was this province, there was that view, everybody coming together. You don't know what has happened. A lot of work, sometimes working throughout the night, sometimes, in the early hours of the morning, talking to comrades until you hammer out a consensus position. That's what I'll miss with him. Just now, not so long ago, he's introduced me to a number of people who have been really very helpful in supporting. Said, look, these are people who want to give support and they want to work with you, they want to discuss. He's always doing that. He facilitates discussion, and that's really what we'll miss. And his laughter. He would walk out into a platform full of 1,000, 2,000 people and looks at everybody and not say anything and just bursts out laughing. Everybody laughs, and then you listen to him address the meeting thereafter.
Our condolences to you. He does sound like he was such an anchor and truly the wind beneath your wings. So we do appreciate your time. And of course, we do commiserate with you, and condolences to you for your loss. The Treasurer General of the African National Congress, Mr. Zweli Mkhize. All right, let's take you back to studio now.